change. I think I've got my last name on as well, so I'll change that real quick.
Okay. Oh my God, I love your accent.
Where do I do that?
I think you go to like
participants maybe.
Yeah, participants, and then
There we go. Rename. Oh, I'm just don't even have my name in it at all. Okay, perfect. Hello.
hello.
Hi. So thank you for agreeing to help us with our silver award project. One of the requirements is that we need to record the sessions and put them on a website and on a YouTube page to document our project, basically.
And then we would like to record the session for administrative purposes. Do you agree to allow the session to be video recorded?
Yep, all good.
Okay, perfect. And then I was just quickly wondering, is your name pronounced Zoe or Zoe?
Zoe.
Zoe, okay, perfect. So hello.
Hello.
I know it's like what, like 10 a.m., right?
Yeah.
Okay. For us, it's like 8 p.m. Okay. So first we have some like Girl Scout questions, like related to Girl Scouts and Girl Guides. And then we have some questions about like just for like life in general to see like the compare and contrast of like the different countries. Okay, so first, so here in the US, we sell cookies to raise money for like our troops. And we were wondering, do you guys like in Australia sell anything to raise money for your troops?
So I started Girl Guides back when I was 13, and from then till up until this year, I'm 18 this year, we sold cookies every year. Well, we call them biscuits. But the manufacturer of the cookies, like they were always like having issues, and like we changed them 3 times. So as of next year, we're not doing biscuit fundraisers anymore, which is really sad because we can't find a manufacturer. But Girl Guides Australia is in the process of like figuring out if there's another fundraiser we could do. But while most of the profits, I think, from the biscuits from that old fundraiser went to, we call it our unit, not a troop. I think it was like half and half between like your unit and then Girl Guides Australia as a whole.
Okay, that's really cool. So like, what were some of the flavors of the cookies? Because I had no idea that they sold cookies. Okay.
So this year's and last year's lot, there was like a lemon lime coconut gluten-free one, and then
that sounds good.
triple choc chip and like just plain chocolate chip. And then before that, there was like these really mini chocolate chip ones, and then gluten-free shortbread, and then just like plain vanilla. And then I think there was a lot before that, and that was either the year I joined or the year before. And they were like really interesting. It was like my friend called them like ice cream cookies. They had a bit in the middle that tasted like ice cream, and it was like vanilla on the outside. I don't really remember any of the other ones from that time. And then like back maybe like 5 years beforehand, I only know this from my leaders talking about it, there used to be like animal ones, like they were all Australian animals shaped.
Wow. Yeah. Like animal crackers here, I think in the US we'll call them.
Yeah.
Okay. Ava, did you want to explain like some of the ones that we have here for cookies?
Yeah, we have a couple different ones. We have 2 peanut butter ones, which is like, I think tagalongs, which is like a peanut butter cookie covered in chocolate, right?
Yes.
And the other one, which is like a cookie, and there are like little holes in it and like peanut butter inside. I forgot what that one's
peanut
called.
Butter sandwich cookie.
Dositos?
Yeah.
And then we have mint something. It's like our most popular one. It's Thin Mints. They're like little chocolate cookies that are minty. And then we have our newest one, which is s'mores, which you can put it in the microwave for like 2 minutes, I think. 10 seconds, I don't know, something like that. And it tastes like a s'more, and it's like all melty, and it's really good.
Wow, I'm jealous.
We have a
Oh,
lemon
yeah.
one like you have too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then we also have one that's coconut chocolate and caramel called Caramel Delights or Samoas, depending on where you live, because we have 2 manufacturers actually.
Oh, okay.
And then we are releasing new ones this coming year, which is really exciting. They're called Adventurefuls, and they're like gonna be brownie around it, and then a caramel like cream filling, and then chocolate drizzled on top. So I'm really excited about those. And
Oh, that
then we
sounds amazing.
have these, yeah, they're very interesting. And then we have these shortbread cookies. So they're like kind of plain vanilla. And then, am I missing any? I don't think so. Oh, we
don't
have
think
a gluten-free one too, which is really cool. And they're like toffee bits inside of a cookie. So yeah. And then our next question is, what was your favorite like girl guide badge to complete, and why?
So mine would definitely be the Queen's Guide. And from my research, I think that's like the equivalent to your gold award. So I've got my sash here. We don't usually wear these like in our unit meetings. We only wear them on like special occasions. So that's a bit, and you wear it like that. So it's a bit,
Wow.
do you guys call yours like a vest?
Yes, we actually have vests and sashes, but
Oh, okay.
the vest like holds a lot more badges than the sashes. So
Yeah, fair enough. So we have, I promise that if you're 14 plus, you can wear, and not many people wear it. It's like really only for like ceremonies, but there's like the formal shirt.
wow.
But yeah, like not many people ever wear them because they're usually just worn for the Queen's Guide ceremonies, and like not many people do that. But yeah, so you'll mostly see people wear this if they're wearing any badgy thing at all. Anyway, so that's the BP, which is like similar, I think is equivalent to your silver award, what you guys are doing. And then there's also a junior BP, which I think is similar to the bronze, but yeah, I haven't done that one, only the BP and the Queen's Guide. So that was definitely my favorite because of like the range of things you have to do in it. From my research, your guys' gold award seemed to be just like one big project, and it's kind of like just from the start to the end. We have as part of the Queen's Guide, you need to do a interest, a focus, and the gold endeavor. So the focus is like a big project, probably not as big as the whole gold award, but like you have to do that over at least 6 months. So that's your like kind of the bulk of the award. So for that, I did this thing. There's different types of focuses. I did the special one, but there's also things like outdoor adventure, service, world guiding, leadership. But I chose the special one because it was kind of like a build your own. So I did this thing called the Swinburne Early Leader Program. Swinburne's a university in the state I live, Victoria, and they do this program to like help kids prepare for uni or college, I think you call it. So that involved 6 months of, there was a bit of community service. They had to interview a uni student, you had to do a creative project, and you had to there was one more thing, do career development activities. So that was like a badge in itself. So I did that for the focus, and the second activity I did for the focus was this thing called the Girl Guides Victoria being the state in Australia I live in, Girl Guides Victoria Youth Forum, and that was where a bunch of girls all across Victoria came together to like brainstorm advocacy ideas, and we kind of developed a plan for Girl Guides Victoria over the course of a few months. So that was the focus part. For the interest, you just had to develop an interest over 3 months. I did ukulele, and then for the Gold Endeavour, that was focused around the 7 fundamentals of Girl Guides Australia. I don't know if you have something similar, but it's like the fundamentals are like service, promise and law, outdoors, world guiding, guiding traditions, leadership, and something else that has escaped my mind. Anyway, there was like a set of criteria, and you had to like do a challenge for each of those fundamental things. Some of them were like pretty small. Some of them were like just have a discussion with your leader about how your understanding of the promise and law has grown over time, and that was it. So, but others were like gain an outdoors qualification, and I ran a 30-minute campfire and did research into like copyright in campfires and stuff like that. So yeah, there was a lot to it.
Yeah. Like here we kind of have an equivalent to your like 7 things. We have like a Girl Scout promise and a Girl Scout law. So that's like kind of equivalent. It has like a whole bunch of different things of what a Girl Scout should be and like good qualities that they have. Yeah, and then we have some favorite badges. So for me, mine would probably be this one. It's from actually one of the Girl Guide like centers or world centers that you can visit.
Centers, yeah.
Yeah. So this one's from the one in India called Sangam. And it's really close to like my dad's childhood home. And so we were able to go and we saw we were able to like meet a whole bunch of people that work there. And the people that work there, there's actually the secretary, I believe, was from Australia. And then the director was like from the UK. And there were some leaders there that were traveling from Canada. So very diverse. And it was really cool getting to meet all those people and learn about like what girl guiding is in like India. So that was my favorite badge. What about you, Ava?
When did you go to Sangam?
I actually went in 2019, so like before COVID, luckily, and it was really fun. Everything was open, and the day we went, it happened to be like Indian Culture Day. So like all the leaders from Canada, like got to go to like a spice shop, and they had a like jewelry business there, and that was like really, really cool. And they also had henna. So that was really cool. And yeah. What about you, Ava? What was your favorite badge?
For me, I can't really find it on my vest right now, but mine was the field day badge, which I did with my troop. And we all went to like a park and, you know, we had a field day, we had different activities. We had 2 teams because I think we had like 6 girls at the time. So we had like 3 on each team and we would do activities. And at the end, my team won. And that really made it special for me. And it was just, you know, really fun bonding activity with my troop and my friends.
Yeah. I know you were going to say something, Zoe, before.
I just wanted to, like, when you traveled, was that with your troop or was that like, was it a state thing or was it like a national?
We just happened to go on our own just because it was like really close to my dad's childhood home, which we had no idea. So that's why. But you can actually travel with your troop there and like how the leaders from Canada traveled and stuff. And they have a whole program there. So that was really cool. Yeah. And then our next question is, what kind of like Girl Guide field trips have you been on, if you've like been on any?
What do you like? We have camps. What do you really define as a field trip?
Well, for instance, like here, especially with our like service unit, our area, we actually have gone on a couple of really cool field trips, overnight things. For me personally, I've done something called Mall Madness, where it's like you sleep overnight at a mall and they shut that mall down. And then you can like go around. Some of the stores are open, so you can go shop there. You like make a little snack bag that you can have all night with like different stuff in it. So ours was like maybe graham crackers, chocolate, mini marshmallows. And then I've also been on slept overnight at a manatee conservation center. Since we live in Florida, protecting manatees is a big thing because they're endangered. So we were able to sleep there overnight and you could see all the different exhibits they had, which was really cool.
So similar to what you Mall Madness, we as a state thing, Girl Guides Victoria, I think I went in 2019, somewhere around that time. We had a thing called Snooze Fest. and we basically got a theme park called Luna Park to ourselves for like the night. They run the rides till like 11 o'clock, and they had a few of the like the food places open, and they were like running like Girl Guide activities to do in between. So that sounds more field trippy to what you did. But in terms of camps, I've been on like region camps. So there's the state of Victoria, and then Victoria is like divided into guide regions. So I've like gone on camps with my region. I think that we had a like spy themed one where we just did guide activities with a spy theme. But my favorite camp I've been on is there. Do you call like big international camps jamborees?
Yes, we do actually.
Yes. So back in 2018, Girl Guides Australia had a jamboree, so I didn't have to travel overseas, but there were lots of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts that came internationally to Australia for that. That was about a week long, and it was in Sydney, and it was amazing. There were like 1,500 plus guides and scouts there. It was crazy. I don't know like how to describe it. It was just madness. We had a day in the city where there was a treasure hunt, or you could just do whatever you want. Like some people went to the Sydney Luna Park theme park for the whole day and ignored the treasure hunt. Some people got really into the treasure hunt. There was like a international day where we like got a bracelet, and you went around doing all these activities, and each different multicultural activity you got a like different bead for your bracelet. There was meant to be a campfire, but it rained, which would have been really cool, but that was a bit unfortunate. We got these hats, and we all had swaps, and we'd like swap them with each other and pin them to our hat, and they were very interesting looking. Yeah, I don't think, when I think of that camp, I can't really remember what we did as such. It was more just the amazing vibe of having so many guides there and all these people that you just instantly had something in common with. Oh, the other amazing thing we did do was, if you're 14 plus, you got to go on an overnight like off-site activity, and I chose to go caving, and that was probably one of my highlights. So yeah,
that is
very cool.
So cool. Okay, that is really cool. It's so fun. Oh my god, that I would love to go to that thing. What about you, Ava? I know that you've been on some Girl Scout field trips.
So I also went to Mall of Madness like you, but I went to Movie Mania too, which is similar to Mall of Madness, except instead of a mall, it's a movie theater. They lock you in the movie theater overnight. There are like 3 movies, I think, and you get to choose with your troop which ones you want to watch and get snacks, and it's like a big party. It's really fun.
Yeah. So yeah, that's like what we have here. And then of course we can also go camping if we want. So we have different camps around the area, which is really fun. And then what would you say is like your favorite part of like Girl Guides?
I struggled to think of an answer when I saw this question. I'm not gonna lie. Probably that like there's always something to do, and that like no matter what kind of person you are, there's like always something for you. Like if you're really into challenging yourself, you can do badges. If you love your camping, there's camps and stuff for you to do. If you love your advocacy, guiding is a great platform for that. Yeah, probably just like the fact that there's no limitations to what you can do.
Yeah, that's really fun. Yeah, same with here. It's always really cool. Like there's so many different areas that you can go into, and I know they've been trying to do a lot of STEM stuff here to try and get women into STEM, which is really cool. And yeah, there always is something to do that piques your interest. And then like for me, I know my favorite part about Girl Scouts is like meeting people, and they're all just like a really fun group of girls, you know? And then also I love, of course, going on all the field trips. Those are really fun and really nice bonding experiences. And then selling cookies. because it's very interesting. You're talking to like people and you learn so many skills during it. So yeah, those were like my favorite parts. What about you, Ava?
Yeah, my favorite part is also selling cookies. It's really fun. And meeting like the successful women like at Girl Scout events. Like I think I went to like a meeting one time where there were like women, they were on the stage and they were, giving presentations and speaking on different things. And it was just like a really good opportunity to see them. And it was like influential, I guess. Like it inspired me kind of because they were all like really successful. Like they were like lawyers and doctors and they were, important people. And all of them started out as Girl Scouts. So, kind of gave me like hope that I can be like a doctor.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is though, you guys talk about selling your cookies. I'm not gonna lie, when we sold our biscuits, most of the time we'd probably get like not five, like 3 packs of each kind of cookie, and there were only like 3 kinds. Most of the time we'd just buy them ourselves. It's not really, I don't think Girl Guides Australia really encourages you to knock on random people's door to sell them the biscuits unless you've got like parental supervision. I don't know, I just don't think it happens so much here. I'm not sure if it's just like my unit thing, but yeah, I find it interesting that you guys say that because that's a bit different here.
Okay, so like here, it just like it gets pretty competitive actually. And there's of course like maybe 7 or 8 different kinds, and you can order as many boxes as you want. And for me last year I sold like 2021 because it's like a goal to reach, because it's the year. And we actually do something called boots. So you will go outside like a supermarket, for instance, let's say like Publix, Walmart, those are just a couple of supermarkets here. And then you'll stand out there for like an hour and a half and try and sell the cookies. So it'd be like, hey, would you like to buy some Girl Scout cookies? And here, like Girl Scouts cookies is like a very widely popular and very loved thing. So people are like, oh my God, I can't believe it's Girl Scout cookie season. I've been waiting for this all year. And so they're like very happy to buy from us. Yeah. So that's like the deal here. But we definitely take a lot of boxes for ourselves. That's for sure. Yeah. Okay. Next question is, how did you like get into Girl Guides? Because I know like here, I personally got into it because I went to like a private Catholic school, and their Girl Guides is kind of like something, it's like an after school club you could join, which they met once a week. And then when I moved from like New Jersey, which is where it was, to Florida, then we found a troop and were able to do it. So what's your experience with that?
I think similar to what you said, this isn't what I did. There are like guiding in schools programs, but that's more so for like areas with like not much guiding like units or opportunities. I only got into guides when I was 13, which is like really unusual here. I don't know if it's the same for you guys, but like the 14 plus guides numbers is a lot lower than like any other age group. And mostly people only start up from, if you're a 12 plus guide, usually you started when you were like 5 or 6 or 7 and you were just really into it and you're continuing on. So I think that I'm a bit of an unusual guide in that kind of regard. My friend had been doing guides since she was about 7 or 8, and was really into it. And we moved to the same high school in year 7 or 7th grade. I'm sure you know what that means. And she was like, yeah, come along, we've got like a bring a friend night, where like their numbers were pretty low at the time, so they were like encouraging people to come along and try it. I'm not gonna lie, at the time I was like, oh really, Go Guides is like a bit like nerdy, like but then I went along and loved it. Oh, sorry, I was thinking very stereotypically, and now I would never think that. I love it too much. So yeah, I joined guides because of my best mate. Yeah.
Okay. Like for me, I know I joined in kindergarten, but I think Ava, I think you joined a little later, right?
fourth grade. I don't know what you call it. It was like I was 10 years old basically. So I wasn't really young, wasn't that old. And I kind of followed it through and it got interesting. In the first couple of years, I was like you, where like I kind of thought it was like nerdy thing that I just did on the side. But it became more important to me. And I think that it's really interesting now because as you get older, you get more freedom. You could go to more types of activities that, you couldn't if you were like 6 years old.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that. So I think so many people, definitely in Australia, don't understand how different the guiding experience is once you get to 14 plus. I know because we have a girl guide hall and there's like a junior unit and a senior unit. A senior unit actually got closed down because there wasn't enough numbers, so that's really sad. But the hall's still there. It's 80 years old, which is like very cool. So luckily the junior unit's still there. Anyway, sidetracked. They do so much craft and like the leaders organize most of the activities for them, but like once you get older it's so different, and being like able to organize your own stuff is definitely makes it a better experience.
Yeah, I feel like that's kind of true here too. Definitely as you get older, you have more freedom. And then once you hit like I think 14, you can actually go on like international trips with Girl Scouts, which I am actually very excited to do because I'm probably going to go on 2 next year. So yeah, that's like really fun. Yeah, and then the last question for the Girl Scout questions, and then you had the girl questions. Like where do you meet for your meetings and what do you do at your meetings?
So before my unit got shut down, I'm actually 18, so I've officially finished guides for a few months now, but like it feels like I'm still part of guides. I don't feel like I'm 18 either. Anyway, so before the unit got shut down, usually like at the start of every term, we do a term planner and like figure out some things we'd want to do. We'd usually like set aside some time for like people doing like their Queen's Guide or their BP or just any other smaller badges they'd want to work on. And so like presenting and peer assessing those was a big part of our time. We had patrols, but they were kind of hit and miss because we had such small numbers that like making patrols was a bit difficult because they would be so small. But like maybe in patrol time sometimes we'd do sort of crafty activities or like team challenges, like we'd usually warm up with a game or something. Sometimes like if there's World Thinking Day or there was the WAG's International Day of the Girl Badge, sometimes we'd like to do those sort of programs. I don't know, because like at the start of last year, we randomly got so many girls, and then after COVID, they all sort of dropped off. So it was like each year it was really different because of the like evolving number of girls in the unit. But yeah, those were probably the main things. We might cook every now and then. We have a little kitchenette in the hall. Yeah, I think those were the main sort of things.
So did you meet at like your school or was it like
no, we have like our own guide hall. There's in the small time. So I live 2 hours away from Melbourne, which is like the capital city of Victoria. So the town I live in is it's nothing like Melbourne, but it's not like tiny, completely remote. Like it's
medium sized.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 2 guide halls in Shepparton, one in Shep South, and their hall is probably not as old as ours, but it's been there a decent amount of time. And then there's our hall. So we have like we don't do it at schools. Like we have specific buildings called guide halls where like we just do guide activities there. I think they sometimes rent them out for other events, but yeah, anyway. And ours is 80 years old, which is crazy. So it's got like a little entrance, and then there's like a massive area with a bunch of tables and chairs, and there's a fireplace there as well. There's a kitchenette, a couple of bathrooms, a massive storage area. And there's quite a lot of space around the guide hall, which is like just garden. and there's a little shed as well for where we like keep stuff for campfires, that sort of stuff.
Wow. So like I wish we had that here. Wow. That is so cool. Here we like will either meet at schools if your school like has its own Girl Scout program, and then otherwise it's like kind of up to the troop leaders. But I know for me and with my personal experience, we kind of meet at like the troop leader's house, or we like here in Florida at least we have a lot of communities. So it's like a whole bunch of groups of houses together in like a closed area. And there we'll have like a clubhouse where it's like it has like the community pool and maybe like basketball court, tennis court, and they also have a party space. So that's like where we would meet also. And then at the meetings, we would like work on badges, again, like you possibly like make a little snack or cook something. But yeah, that's like my experience. What about you, Ava? Because I know like it definitely varies for every person.
Yeah, mine, we didn't really do that. We usually did it at our school, which like we would do it after school every Fridays. We would usually do it in like the art room, which had like a lot of space in it. It was the art room. We also brought snacks. Usually each week a different girl brought a different snack. And yeah, we would also go over badges. And my trip was interesting because they let the girl lead the badge. So in the beginning of each Girl Scout year, we would discuss like which girl gets to lead which badge. So yeah, but usually it was like doing the badges, and then at the end or at the beginning we would recite like the promise.
Yeah, we recited the promise too. But yeah, that shows you like how different it can be even in like the same area. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, like at the end of each meeting we do like a horseshoe, and we have a song called Taps, which is so I don't know how you describe Taps. I don't know, it's just like a it's sung all over Australia, and it's like a song you sing to end a meeting or a camp or something. So I guess that's kind of in place of reciting the promise.
Yeah, we have like a taps thing here too. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, we'll like go every meeting, and I know like my meeting had a little tradition of like we would cross like our right hand over our left, I think, and then we'd like twist out of it, and that was our way of kind of saying goodbye. Did you do something similar?
We when we finished taps, like you salute at the end of taps, and then our unit had a tradition of like you'd like step forward and then do like a jump back and like kind of put your knees up. And then the junior unit at our hall had this thing where they'd all put their hand up and the leader would choose someone, and they'd kind of go good and like kind of do it in the circle as they turn to you, then you start saying it until it got like back round to the end, and then they'd all clap and go good night. It was really cute.
Aww. Okay, that's really cool. And now Ava is going to take over for the girl questions, which is like almost a little bit of like pop culture and like what life is like in Australia, not related to guys.
Yeah. These are more like about you instead of like, your trip. So like personally me, I use basically every type of social media from like TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. I know in some countries like they don't allow certain types of social media or like it's banned. So like what type do you use?
Yeah, so I definitely have TikTok. I don't really make them, also just watch them. I've Snapchat, Facebook. Do you guys use Facebook?
I do. It's mostly for like our parents and stuff, but I just have an account just because.
I think, yeah, I mean, maybe like definitely more people are on Instagram and Snapchat than Facebook my age, but I think probably because we're all in year 12 or 12th grade, I don't know, mate, we're kind of transitioning into using Facebook. I don't know, I feel like Facebook for me is more like I can post anything, but on Instagram I want that to look a lot nicer. I don't know, that's sort of a me thing. Anyway, so TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook. I have Twitter, but I don't really use it that often. I'm just trying to think. I mean, those are like the main ones.
Yeah, like for me personally, I know I do not have Snapchat. My mom won't let me get it. But I have Instagram, I have TikTok. I don't have Twitter. I feel like that isn't as common now, and if it is, it's like more for like again older people, like our parents' age. And then I do have a Facebook account. Don't really use it. And then I don't know if WhatsApp's considered social media.
Yeah, I have WhatsApp, but yeah, I barely use it. Yeah, and Discord's the other one, but that was more so. I only used that last year. In American, can you like because like obviously 12th grade's like your final year and like you choose your subjects to do. In like 11th grade, can you like fast track a subject that goes towards your 12th grade? Is that like a thing?
Not really. I know like our situation for high school is very unique where we're kind of doing like university or college in our high school years, which is like definitely not at all normal. But yeah, so that's like our situation. But I don't think
Yes.
normally you wouldn't be able to. I don't think.
Yeah, well, last year, like for my year 12, like for my, they call it the Victorian Certificate of Education, I'm doing 5 subjects this year, but last year I did, we call it fast track to subject that will contribute to my overall score. Like it'll combine with those other 5 subjects to make my, we call it an ATAR, which is like a rank compared to everyone else in the state for my VCE, Victoria Certificate of Education, and that gets you into uni if you get a high enough rank. So completely sidetracked again. So last year when I was fast tracking the one subject in class, we often because we were on Zoom a lot of the time because we were stuck at home from lockdown. After like class finished with the teacher, but we still had like work to go on with till a certain time, we'd all talk on Discord. But yeah, I don't really use it much anymore. Anyway, sidetracked, but
Yeah, we have to use Discord for school too, but then people make like random group chats and stuff, and so I don't really use it very much.
Mostly for me, like Facebook is like for my parents, you know. So I was thinking about getting it just to like see what they're posting about me. I don't want them to post anything like weird. But yeah. So next question. This is like your favorite celebrity, like it could be like a singer or an actor, and like, you know, a favorite movie or song that they have. Because, you know, different countries have different, you know, celebrities. My favorite is Leonardo DiCaprio. My favorite movie is Shutter Island, which the star is Leonardo DiCaprio.
well, probably like 3 or 5 years ago, my music taste was very probably majority American singers. And then lately, I don't really know how. One of my friends went to a concert with like an Aussie singer as like the pre-act, and she got really into them. And then I started listening to that. And then, you know, do you guys use Spotify?
Yes.
Yeah, you know, like how they make you recommended playlists on what you've been listening to. So I started getting a lot of similar Aussie artists on like my recommended. So I've kind of evolved into having a very Australian music taste, not because, well, I mean, it's great to support local artists, but not because I'm like, oh, I'm going out of my way to support Aussie artists, just because it kind of evolved into being that way. So this have I love my music a lot. These are my records. So this person's called Adet. They're from Sydney. I've looked up her monthly listeners before, but I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. But she's like semi-popular in Australia. I don't know, maybe if you like ask people if you knew her, maybe like 1 in 15 would say yes. I don't know. That's just a random guess. So yeah, she's my favorite singer. As for my favorite celebrity, I don't know.
What about like your favorite movie?
My favorite movie would be, sorry, it was celebrity. I kind of guess I said Adet as celebrity. My favorite See, this is a very difficult question. I don't think I've ever been able to answer it well, but I was brought up in a very Star Wars loving family. So probably if I had to have a favorite, maybe it would be Return of the Jedi, which is number 6.
Very cool. For me, like, I think I've not watched any of the Star Wars movies. I should probably should, because like very mainstream here. But like for me, my favorite movie. I don't really know what my favorite movie is. There's like a lot of really good ones. Of course, there's like an American classic, Mean Girls. And then like To All the Boys I Loved, that trilogy. Fun fact, that Noah Centineo, he went to my middle school. So that was like pretty cool.
What?
Yeah.
Have
So,
you were you at
back.
middle school as the same time as he went there?
I was not, but he did come back when I was like in 6th grade, like my first year of middle school, and he came and like talked to all of us. So that was pretty cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So that was really cool. And then like my favorite celebrity slash like singer is probably like Dua Lipa, even though she's like I think from the UK. But like I like all of her songs, very upbeat. And then of course Miss Olivia Rodrigo. She's become very mainstream here. And so my favorite song by her is probably Jealousy, Jealousy. So yeah.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites too. I've been listening to her like a lot
I
recently.
know, right? That's like I have like on my Spotify, that's like most of my songs. Her songs are like my liked songs.
Okay, so another one is, what career do you want? Like, what do you want to be when you grow up? Basically, for me, back when I was saying like, the successful women gave me hope to like be a doctor. I want to be like an eye doctor. It's, glasses.
My dad's actually an optometrist, so there you go.
Really?
Probably what I'm working towards at the moment is next year I hope to do a double degree of business and media communications, and when I'm older, kind of thinking of going into like the public relations field. So like I think you call it like a public relations manager, so that sort of thing. And I'd love to be able to do that with like Girl Guides Victoria and manage their communications or something, but I don't know if that's a volunteer role. So I might need to do an actually paying job otherwise, but yeah, that sort of thing.
Wow, very cool. For me, I would like to be an orthodontist. So that's like the ones who do your braces and stuff. Yeah, because it's like has a good work-life balance. You're not like working too much like as some other medical professions. So that's what I want to be.
Okay. So, okay, what's your favorite food or drink? Because different cultures, different foods. Mine personally is garlic bread. It's so good. It's more like an Italian food, but I'm like a quarter Italian, so it's like part of my culture.
I'm also a quarter Italian. My dad's dad came from Italy. As you might know, Australia is very multicultural. So yeah, there you go. There's not really like Australian food as such. Like some people say like lamingtons are, but then New Zealand also kind of say that's theirs. Some people say like meat pies are Australian. So like honestly, out of the selection of foods that could be my favorite, I don't think it's very different to America. I always love chocolate. You can't go wrong with chocolate. So but maybe more as like a favorite meal. I really love Vietnamese pho. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's like a beef broth, and then it's like bits of like rare beef and veggies. I don't know how to describe it otherwise. But yeah, there's like a really good Vietnamese place in Melbourne, and we've just got one in Shep, so that's very exciting.
That is very cool. Yeah, I think for sure, because like I think both countries have a lot of blends of different cultures. Like here in America, I think what would be considered American food is like French fries and cheeseburgers and stuff. And for me, I'm vegetarian, so I cannot eat a lot of that food. So my favorite is like Asian food. Like I'm personally Indian, but I think my favorite type of food is like Thai food. So like noodles, like noodle soups, and then Vietnamese spring rolls. So like the vegetables and stuff rolled in rice paper. Those are like my
Yes, we often make rice paper rolls at home. They are delicious.
Yeah, I make sushi at home, but I need to get the rice paper to make the rice one.
Oh, what about Vegemite? Because I mean, that's the kind of food that I associate with Australia, and I've never personally had it. Is it like
It's very like bitter and salty. I don't think many people do this, but I love to have avocado on toast with Vegemite spread on the toast as well, because it like the avocado is like kind of creamy and the Vegemite's quite salty, so it's like a good balance. Personally, if I have just like plain Vegemite on toast, it needs to be like a really thin layer of Vegemite. Like Vegemite's really good if you put like just the right amount on it. Too much and it tastes awful. That's why I always cringe. Like I see Americans trying Vegemite, and they just spoonful it out of the jar and eat the whole thing. No, that's awful. Yeah, so if I have just plain Vegemite on toast, it needs to be like usually a good layer of butter is good, but yeah, like really thin amount of Vegemite. As for my favorite Australian food, it would probably be Tim Tams. They're like chocolate biscuits covered in like melted chocolate and like a creamy chocolate bit in the middle. I don't know how to explain it.
Wow.
They're delicious.
sounds really good?
Yeah. Do you guys like eat like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? I feel like that's very American. And then like mac and cheese.
I love peanut butter. As a kid, we call it just like strawberry or raspberry jam, not jelly so much. As a kid, I would have that often. Either that or peanut butter and honey was the other thing I loved. But yeah, I think I got that from Dad, and I wouldn't say many Australians do it, but I wouldn't say it's like a foreign thing either. Mac and cheese. We definitely have like those like pre-made, like ready to go boxes of mac and cheese at the supermarket. But they're probably considered quite like cheap and like probably really bad for you by most Aussies, and like it's really only something to get like if you don't have much time, or it like might be considered a bit like low socioeconomic status if like it's something you eat often. But like I mean, if that's more so for like the pre-made box stuff. I mean, maybe it would be I've personally never had mac and cheese for dinner. But like I guess it's probably not completely foreign for Aussies to even just make their own. Yeah, I don't know.
Wow. Like I know here, like stuff that we have like prepackaged, like for instance, like college students would buy, like, you know, college students balling on a budget, need something quick to eat. So they'll like grab a thing of mac and cheese that's like ready made, or like ramen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like
I mean, if it's if you're buying pre-made mac and cheese stuff for your family, but that's kind of like, I don't know. I'm trying not to be rude, but like that's a bit cheap. But like if you're like a uni student, that's like not quite the same. That's like fair enough. You're on a budget.
Yeah. Wow. So you've never had mac and cheese for dinner?
I've actually been to not last year. In 2019, our family went to California, and I did have it was quite I was quite fancy mac and cheese. Like it was like it had like mushroom and bacon in it as well. But I think that's the most American mac and cheese I've ever tried.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think it's definitely very American. Like, yeah.
Okay, so besides the food, what's your favorite part about living in your country? For me, it's the super fast internet, because some countries this like they have a slow internet. I'm sorry. So yeah.
Actually, I think Australia invented Wi-Fi, yet we have one of the worst Wi-Fi speeds in like the developed world. It's kind of depressing, actually. Yeah. My Zoom hasn't been glitching this whole time, has it?
No.
No, okay. Yeah, I think it's more just like loading. If you're loading Netflix, it's kind of like slower in Australia than it probably is in America or something. Anyway, I think the great thing about Australia is that it's so multicultural. Like, I know America's like quite multicultural, but I think it's just more like in Australia it's kind of more like common, or like I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but like yeah, we had lots of people that came for like the gold rush from like China and Italy and those sort of countries, and lots of refugees moved to Australia. I can't really tell you other than those reasons why we are so multicultural, but especially where I live in Shepparton, I don't know why. I think it had something to do with like the sheep shearing or something, like hundreds of years ago or something. But like in Shepparton, we are like one of the most multicultural places in Australia, maybe.
Wow.
Maybe like, if I had to put a number to it, maybe like top 50. I'm not sure. But yeah, it just means that you get to experience a lot of different things. Like there's so many amazing like food options. Like you go to Melbourne, you can literally get any cuisine from any country, I swear. And like in Shepparton especially, we often have lots of like multicultural festivals, and like you get to see like dances from all these different cultures, and like there'll be like different communities that'll do like they might wrap your hair in a turban like their culture does, or like they'll have lots of food stalls. Yeah, I think it's just interesting because you get to find out so much about different cultures.
Wow. Do you like go to the ocean a lot? Because I know that like Australia is like has one of the most diverse groups for like animals, right? And like has some of the only animals, right? Oh my God.
So where I live is 2 hours from Melbourne, and Melbourne's in the coast. Probably not like in the city part of Melbourne. You're not near the nicest beaches, but like a bit kind of more out of the city there are. So I didn't go to the beach all that often, but I've definitely like been to some of the other states around Australia and been to their coastal areas where they have amazing beaches. In terms of the animals, like we have Australia Zoo in Queensland where you can like see all the iconic animals like koalas and kangaroos. And there's like you'll like in most states around Australia, like we have maybe an hour's drive from where we live, like Kyabram Fauna Park. So it's not like uncommon to live kind of near a wildlife sanctuary where you can visit those kind of animals. We often, like if you drive from the highway from Shep to Melbourne, it's not uncommon to like come across kangaroos hopping across the road, which is quite sad because sometimes like if like because you're going like you guys have miles per hour, but we're going, I don't know how 100 k's an hour translates to miles, but you're going pretty fast, so it's not always easy to dodge them, which is quite sad. But you often see kangaroos across the highway, but you don't really come across them in like day-to-day life. There's like iconic Aussie animals, sort of.
Okay. Yeah, I hear like the equivalent of like a kangaroo crossing the road would be like a deer, like you see them while driving and stuff. Yeah.
Or sometimes like alligators if you're in certain parts.
That would
Did
be
we mention
terrifying.
that we're in
Oh,
South
God.
Florida? I don't know if we mentioned that.
iguanas too. And
Yeah.
like they're like an invasive species, so apparently it's like completely legal to like kill them, which is like kind of sad, but they're invasive. So, but yeah, like my favorite part about probably living in America is definitely like the diverse culture, like how you get to experience stuff. Like when traveling, sometimes I'm surprised that like it. So for some reason, it just like translated in my mind that like everyone there's like the same from the same place, right? Here you'll be like meet someone that's lived in America for like 3 generations or like even 10 generations, and then some they moved from like a different country. So that's like pretty cool. And then you of course get all the amazing food from all around the world. And then also thinking about it, like we have some very iconic places like New York and like LA and Orlando, where you have like Disney and stuff. So that's pretty cool. And then the universities, like I know that people come from like all over the world to come to like our universities. So it's really cool that we live in that country already, which is like I never really thought about before, but it can be, I'm assuming, like kind of hard to like move countries for like a few years rather than like.
Wait, so isn't Disney World in Florida?
Correct. I actually live like 3 hours away from it. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Like so you can get like passes where you can go in an unlimited amount of times in that year. So that's pretty cool. And I've done that like once. Yeah, for a year. And so we just got to go as like many times as we wanted during the year. So like a weekend you can like drive up there and stuff. Actually last weekend I went to Orlando and we went like in Disney Springs and stuff because my mom had a conference there.
Oh, okay. When we went to Disneyland in California, yeah, we were on one of the rides and talking to like one of the families there. And they were like, yeah, we just live an hour up the road and have an annual pass and come down on the weekends whenever we want. And we were just sitting there going, that's insane. Like we've literally had like a 18, I can't remember how long the flight was, but we've like, had an 18-hour flight from Australia to have this kind of experience. Yeah, that's crazy to me.
Yeah, it's like kind of funny when you think about it. I've also been to the Disneyland in California, but yeah, people come from all over the world to experience something that's like a 3-hour drive for us. So that's like pretty crazy.
Okay, so so for us, there are different sports in every country. Some have like cricket in here, where America's like a football kind of, not the soccer, but like the football type for America.
Yeah.
So like what kind of sports do you play there?
So the sport I've played since I was in year 3, so 3rd grade, up until this year. It's called netball, and it's really not that common anywhere else in the world, I don't think. It's kind of like basketball, but when you catch the ball, you're not allowed to move with it. So like you have a court divided into 3 and there's like a goal end at each end and you shoot it up sort of like basketball. But yeah, when you've got the ball, you can't move with it. Like people have to like run in front of you, you throw it to them and they have to stop. And that's how you move the ball up the court. And you can't like hold the ball for more than 3 seconds. Yeah, it's like really massive in Australia, but like I'm pretty sure it's like not a thing anywhere else in the world. I think because Brisbane in Australia is having the Olympics in 2032, they're like trying to get it on the like Olympic sports. But yeah, I'm not sure how they're going to do that since many countries don't even know about it. I played soccer, which it's what you call
we call soccer.
But you kind of had 2 footballs. Yeah. I played that when I was like really young in primary school. The other sport massive in Australia, which I don't play but watch quite commonly, is called AFL, which is Aussie rules football, which is kind of like American football. Like they don't wear the like massive shoulder pads or the helmety thing. that American football to us is kind of like rugby for us. It's like kind of similar, but Aussie rules football is like American football in that like you can kick the ball to one another, although they mostly move it down the run with it down the field. But I think they kick it sometimes. I'm not sure. But you mostly kick it down the field, and like if you catch it on the full without it dropping, that's called a mark, and like it means no one's allowed to tackle you. But if they don't mark it, then like someone else can tackle you and steal the ball and start going towards the other goal. And the other way you can give it to someone else is like handballing it, like you kind of hold it and punch the ball. If you like just kind of throw it, that's like an illegal throw, so like the other team gets a free kick. Yeah, and then you kind of move it down the field, and there's like, how do I demonstrate this? There's like, let me see if I can get a piece of paper.
Wow, like here, I think like football is so weird, like American football, because like it's called football, but it's played with your hands. And I mean, I don't watch it. I don't understand the rules of it. But yeah, that's like the main sport here, even though our national sport is baseball, which I feel like I don't even see that many people play.
Yeah.
So like for the Aussie rules, you have like these goalposts, and if you get it through these big ones in the middle, that's 6 points, and these ones are worth 1 point. And yeah, that's how they score, and you've got to like kick it through. So yeah, another sport that is like really just played in Australia. And
Yeah, I've never heard of it. That's really cool. Here, like personally, I do very odd sports. But like I used to do just regular swimming, and now I do something called synchronized or artistic swimming. It's in the Olympics. It's like you're dancing and doing like cheerleading and gymnastics in the water, and you cannot touch the bottom. So yeah, that's like one sport I do, and then I also do horseback riding. So that's definitely interesting because you're not only controlling like yourself, you're controlling like an animal, which is sometimes a little bit hard because you can't always control them. But yeah, like here are some other popular sports that a lot of girls play are like lacrosse, which is like you have these stick things and they have a net and you have to catch it. Very bad verbal explanation of it, but yeah. And then also volleyball, which is really hard. We're playing that in school right now and it's not easy. What about you, Ava? Like you probably play different sports.
I don't really play any sports, more like an academic person. I was thinking about like doing soccer because, well, yeah, the football, that's the one with the actual feet.
Yeah.
Because I played it in PE once. It was really cool. Except like I've seen it on TV. Those people, they're like they fall over for like the littlest things. Like, and I hear people joke about that all the time. So I'm not sure like I want to be like into that so much. And it's like pretty popular in South Florida. I'm not sure about other states though.
Yeah, I mean, while like in terms of competitive Australian competition, like I mostly watch AFL and I mostly play netball. Soccer's definitely quite popular, so is cricket. I mean, a lot of teenage boys will play footies, Aussie rules football as well. Rugby is quite popular, not so much in the state. I live in Victoria. It's very popular in New South Wales. We've definitely done like volleyball and lacrosse in sport when I was younger, back when it was compulsory. Yeah, I think those are sort of the main ones. I mean, I have a friend who's very into horse riding, equestrian stuff. That's a thing. It's, big enough in Australia for there to be national competitions and stuff that she goes to. Yeah, I think we probably do have the more unique sports, but yeah, those are probably the most mainstream ones.
Yeah. Here we also play like tennis and
yeah, definitely tennis here as well.
Yeah, and then for us, cricket, I'd say is probably played mostly by like Indians or people from like the Caribbean, I'd say, and stuff. So like my dad like used to play cricket, and we have one like right across the street, but it definitely isn't like very common. But I know that he's always watching like the cricket matches, and he actually he went to college in Australia, so he's always rooting for like Australia and India. So it's definitely yeah. But yeah, thank you so much. I believe that was our last question. So thank you
Yes, it
so much
was.
for helping us with our project. It was really nice talking to you, and we should totally stay in touch. And if you ever decide to come into the US, you should definitely come to Orlando and you can go to Disney World, and we would love to host you. And yeah, and I would definitely love to come visit Australia. Such a beautiful looking place. It also seems to have a lot of very scary animals. Yeah. So yeah.
I wouldn't say that. You've got to, I mean, you do have to, like, if you're walking around the street in the city, you don't have to be wary of snakes or spiders. Maybe if you're going for we have a place, like a, what would you call it? Like a park? Not a park. It's not a park. Like a really like bushlandy sort of track near we live, where you've got to be careful of snakes, but that's like only if you go off the track. So I think the dangers of Australian animals are over exaggerated.
In the ocean, because I know there's a lot of like poisonous fish. So I'm kind of scared about.
I mean,
Yeah, like the
I've heard of like people getting stung by jellyfish, and like I don't think. Well, actually, when we went to the Northern Territory, which was another state, we had to be careful of like crocodiles, but like
Oh.
that wasn't there was like where if you ever went to like a nature reserve or like a river or something, that'd give you like the danger level of there being a crocodile there, and we only went to the ones rated like very low or low, but like most of the public didn't go to the higher rated places anyway. And yeah, I don't think I've ever been to a beach where there's been like a where everyone's had to evacuate because of like a shark or something. That doesn't happen too often that it gets that close to the shore, I think. Yeah.
Here in Florida, we're apparently the only place in the entire world that has crocodiles and alligators. So we are so lucky with that. But like, I wouldn't say it's like a very big problem. But like, even if you have like a lake in your community or something, there can be alligators in there. Because sometimes with like floods and stuff, they like come in. Very scary. But yeah, sometimes you'll just see them basking in the sun, and it's like, oh my
especially
god.
the lakes in the golf course.
Yes. Oh my god, yeah, that too. But yeah. And then we actually I think have a pretty high rate of sharks too, because we're in like tropical waters and stuff. And actually we think that one time when we went to the beach, like we were going near sunset and we got out of the water and we think that there might have been sharks where we were. So that was kind of scary to think about, but it's all good.
One last question. So are you guys from the same troop or?
We actually are not, and but we are part of this program throughout just our area called Media Girls, and basically that is where we'll like sometimes we're kind of like talking for Girl Scouts on like behalf of Girl Scouts. So we'll go to like sometimes radio stations and talk about like cookies if it's cookie time, or like we have something called the South Florida Fair. So it's like a carnival kind of near us that happens yearly. And so I've been there and I got to be on like a float and I got to like throw out necklaces on behalf of Girl Scouts and stuff. So we were actually doing a photo shoot for it together. And our parents got to talking, and then that's how we met each other. And we found out we're going to the same high school too. So yeah, there our parents got talking, and then we decided to do the silver award together.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
a lot of fun. So how many like other people are you planning on interviewing?
I've messaged so many people through Instagram, but definitely you get a very low response rate. So some people have replied, but we're planning on we're going to try to do at least 2 more, and we have until the end of September to do it. So
Yeah.
kind of a narrow.
So did you just go through like followers of like the WAGs account, or what did you do?
Kind of, yeah, because I figured that if they're following them, they're more likely to be girl guides, of course, and then they're going to be from like all over the world, you know? And then sometimes I went into individual like countries. So I went into Australia and I messaged them, and I like messaged Western Australia, like Southern Australia, and then all of Australia. And so one of them saw my message but didn't reply, which I was very sad about because I was like, oh my God, I love Australia. But luckily I was able to get someone from Australia, which is so nice. So yeah, thank you so much again.
That's
It was really
okay.
nice talking. And again, love your
Sorry if I've
accent.
talked too much. I'm very talkative. I've just probably realized.
No, you're fine. So yeah, thank you again. And we should definitely keep in touch.
Definitely. Okay, thank you and good luck.
You're welcome. Thank you so much.
See ya.
Bye.